Hello, I'm Tara Brabazon. I'm the Dean of Graduate Research at Flinders University, and welcome to Vlog 66, the video abstract. One of the goals of these vlogs is to introduce to you new and emerging ideas that are happening in academic life right now, and just to suck it and see if they are of use to you in your career now and going forward. And this suggestion for the video abstract actually came from our colleagues in Flinders University from the early career researcher community. Quite wonderfully, I found out that the ECR group often watch these vlogs and offer great commentary and feedback, and that particular community asked if I would consider discussing the video abstract in specificity, because I think I mentioned it in an earlier vlog. So it is my great pleasure to do so. Our vlog this week will introduce the nature of the video abstract as a genre, but then I'm going to provide some quick and dirty tips so that you, yes you, if you choose to conduct a video abstract, can do so very quickly and understand the nature of this emerging genre and how you can be a part of it. So let's go. I hope you enjoy it, and I've certainly enjoyed over the last few weeks looking at the emerging literature and field and presenting this vlog to you. Okay, so what is a video abstract? Yes, it is the equivalent of a written abstract for a journal, but it is its own genre. It is certainly not a matter of simply reading a written abstract into the camera. That was the early state, if you will, of the genre, and it was very poor and wooden and stiff, and now some really interesting, quirky elements in this genre are emerging. So the goal of the video abstract, more than the written abstract, is it is providing an introduction, a quick between 2 and 5 minute introduction to hook possible readers into your research. So it really is much more of an elevator pitch than it is a written abstract. It is also about speed. It is about you enabling your viewers to, at speed, decide whether or not this research is worth the hour or two that it takes to read a refereed article. It is also a way to lift citations quickly. And this is the important bit of the story today, which is why I decided, yes, we're actually going to do a specialist vlog on this. There was a research project conducted in 2014, and that research project reported that only 5% of refereed articles have a video abstract. So I'll state that again. Only 5% of refereed articles have a video abstract, but it lifts citations for those articles between 25 and 30%. Worth doing. So video abstracts are a new mode of academic communication, and their goal is to connect the researcher, that's you, the researcher, with your research, with the viewer. Because unlike simply, say, reading an article where your name's on it, this is actually about viewers and prospective readers seeing who you are. So this is part of the suite of your branding as a scholar and your branding as an academic, because it's tethering you to your research and to your prospective audience with great clarity. The key here is to be really precise about what you want to convey to your audience. So most importantly, you need to express your name and the title of the article, but you need to convey precisely what the point of the research actually is. Now, this is significant if you're enacting translational research. A lot of our colleagues in the social sciences, in the health sciences, and also in business, big hi to the business school, you guys are doing this translational research. And why that's important is you're speaking to at least 2 different audiences. Now, you need to decide who is the audience, singular, for a particular video abstract, and your choice of vocabulary will determine particularly who that audience is. Now, you may decide, particularly in the health sciences and business, that there are 2 or perhaps 3 distinct audiences for this research, and you may decide to record a video abstract for each of those audiences. So I think that's quite significant and important. Now, the best uses of these video abstracts we see in the natural sciences and in engineering to explain, to concretize, if you will, what this research is and why it matters. And also specifically, if you've got a refereed article that's on a slice of a much bigger project, in the video abstract you can position this research into the wider context of the big project, which is terrific, which will then pick up the citations and interests for the other bits of the project. So that's terrific. For the humanities and the social sciences, the point, the rationale, the big picture ideas can become clear through the video abstract. They allow you to make your article special. Between 4,000 and 5,000 refereed articles are published every single week. Why should anybody care about your work, and indeed, how could anybody actually find it? Well, a video abstract is one way to enact that finding, that discovery of your research. So the best of video abstracts takes content, but understands that when you move media, you also move the approach, the rationale, and the type of work you are enacting. So research that's presented in a refereed article and research that's presented in a video, that's multimodal. They're two different channels, and you need to understand the difference. A range of really fantastic journals and publishers are using video abstracts at the moment. Physics Education, the publisher Cell Research, and Cell Press are doing some fantastic work around this area, and Cell Press actually have their own YouTube channel, which is really doing very well. International best practice, I think. But a whole series of publishers are using them. Wiley is doing it really well. Elsevier, the wonderful publisher I have some great relationships with. Emerald is developing a whole series of really innovative ways of thinking about video and research. Dove Press, and also the Taylor and Francis suite, Old Routledge, and a whole series of other publishers that they've bought have a Vimeo channel. So this is a thing, and it is an emerging event in academic life that has momentum. Wiley has described the importance of video abstracts as being, quote, a way to bring research to life, end of quote, bring research to life. I really enjoy that. So if you're wanting to be a part of this movement, and I do think it is a good idea, let me provide a series of very basic steps for you to get into this video abstract story. It's very important, I think, that you start simply. Yes, you can use the camera apps on your mobile phone, no worries at all. There's some very good work that you can do on the mobile phone alone. The lenses have improved, the microphones are okay, so you can do work on your mobile phone now, but I would advise that you buy a tripod. The tripod for me really is a no-brainer. Tripods cost between $25 and $50. You don't need to spend more than $50. In fact, get a $25 one, but do get yourself a tripod. Now, if you want to go a little bit above the mobile phone, there's all sorts of in-between and interesting small cameras that can work. Here's one from Kodak, big fan of that. And of course, the flip camera was a terrific camera, still is. Less supported because obviously Cisco rendered it redundant in their company. So it exists, but it's not as supported as it was in terms of software. But Kodak, a whole series of different firms are creating some good quality and cheap hardware. The camera I use for these vlogs and use in a lot of my work is the Zoom camera, a German firm. I use a lot of their microphones, and if you notice, the sound is very good on this camera, just with an XY microphone. So the Zoom camera I do recommend to you. Small, compact, but just a little bit higher end if you want to go there. So you've now got the hardware. What are you going to do with the hardware? And the answer is keep it simple. The best video abstracts span between 2 and 5 minutes. And what I recommend to you is you must write a script. Do not do this stuff off the cuff. It needs to be great, it needs to be precise, it needs to be good functional prose that you can convey through a camera. So between half a page and a page is the script you will be writing. So now we're getting to the structure of your video abstract. Introduce yourself. Use your full name, your title, your university affiliation. Get that out in the first 10 seconds. Then the title of the piece. Full title, including subtitle. Now, this is the trick. Present the most important information first. So, what you have discovered. What's the innovation in your data set? What's your interpretation? Why should we care about this? What is brilliant? What is outstanding? What is exciting about what you've done? And you need to convey that in the first 30 seconds. So in journalism, we call this burying the lead. People go, let's talk about the methods, let's talk about the literature, let's talk about my systematic review, blah, blah, blah. None of that matters, actually. For a video abstract, do not bury the lead. Why should we care? What have you discovered? What are the outcomes? Tell me about it. Tell me why it's fabulous. Boom, boom, boom. That's what you do in a video abstract. So if it is empirical, tell me about the data, tell me about the interpretation, tell me what you've done well. If it is a theoretical piece, this can work really well. Explain to me how, in your theoretical piece, you have transformed thinking on this topic. Start there. And again, the goal of this whole project is to connect your research with an audience of scholars who, once seeing your video abstract, will go, wow, that sounds amazing. I'm going to read this now. That's what you want. So let's talk about you now and your relationship with the hardware, your relationship with the camera. I won't lie to you. Pieces directly expressed to camera, this is tough. This is a tough gig to do, and a lot of people become incredibly nervous and agitated and worried. It is a tough gig. The best way to handle that is to just acknowledge it, swallow hard, say, you know what, this is a new set of skills that I'm developing here, and I will improve as I become more experienced. So acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the worry, but also note that you can do it many, many times. You haven't got like one shot out of the locker. You get many goes at developing this video abstract. But as I said, remember, write a script and learn it. Learn it. And be between 2 minutes and 5 minutes. When I train people to do work with the media, I do always start with sonic media. I start with sound. And there are many reasons for that. Firstly, it's easier because you've only got to worry about sonic media and the hearing element of media rather than the visual stuff. But also, it's always a reminder about the importance of sound and the voice. The voice is a great gift of the human being. And I think particularly as academics, we don't appreciate and use our voice the best that we can. And what you've got to do when you're developing this video abstract is not read the video abstract as if it is a script. So I am simply reading each word at a time, and it sounds incredibly wooden and forced. And a lot of the video abstracts that you see, they're simply reading it and it sounds terrible. What you've got to try and do, if you can, is render your voice natural, conversational and intimate. A lot of people will listen to the video abstract with headphones on, so it's incredibly personal. So if you can, be personable. The second trick with sound I always try and convey to people that makes a real difference is find a way to put emotion into your throat. Because all of us tend to only use a very narrow series of tones, a narrow series of notes when we speak. And you've got to try and find a way to add energy and excitement and passion and guide your audience through your research via your throat, via your voice. So it's a couple of quite easy techniques we can use. Try and find ways, for example, if there is a bit of humour there, try and put a tickle of laughter into your throat. Often when you smile, you can feel the change in your throat as well. So add a bit of personality and energy and laughter to your work. And secondly, if something is quite emotional or quite difficult, find a way to just add a tear in your throat, as we say in radio. Find a way to add a tear to your throat. Start to think about the great gift that your voice is as a communication aid. And obviously I'm pretty heavily with a cold at the moment, so I'm working the best I can with my throat, but we're doing quite well. Remember, your voice is what is guiding your viewers and indeed listeners through your research. The goal is always warmth and emotional range. So I've stressed the voice here first because I think whenever we talk about visual media, we lose sound. We lose the importance of the voice in guiding people through our ideas and our world. But before you deliver the video abstract, just remember, focus on vocal delivery. If nothing else, just focus on speaking slowly and speaking clearly. Every time you do it, you will improve, but slow delivery is perhaps the most important. Let's get into the visual elements. The video abstract as a genre is emerging. It's still determining what its characteristics and specifications are. The key debate that's going on at the moment is between the formal and informal elements. But there's no doubt to me when someone is standing rigidly looking at a camera and really showing their discomfort and being incredibly formal, they're not doing anybody any favours, and why would you be interested in their research? So it is, I think, quite good to be comfortable, show who you are through the video abstract. That's the point of doing this in the first place. Also, use the direct gaze. That means you need to look directly at the camera. I know that this can be incredibly unnerving, and it's the last thing you want to do is actually look straight into a camera. But you do need to, because if your eyes wander at all, even 5 degrees or 10 degrees, and I'll do it in a second, 5 or 10 degrees, it looks really disturbing for the viewer because it looks like you're looking somewhere else. So I'll try and do it. If I speak a little bit at about 10 degrees, and so actually because I'm really uncomfortable in looking at the lens because I'm a bit intimidated, I'm just randomly going to talk at about 8 or 10 degrees, and of course you lose the intimacy and the connection with your viewer. If it helps, here's a trick that I've always used whenever I've done pieces to camera, and that is I pretend the lens is actually one of my friends, and so it adds warmth and intimacy and excitement and that sort of conversational element to it. So I always think when I'm doing these vlogs that all my friends from Griffith up in Brisbane are actually the camera, and I'm talking with them because they're brilliant, interesting people, and I miss them. And so this is an opportunity to have a conversation with them. So you might find a similar strategy is useful for you as well. Pretend the lens is a friend and just talk about it in a way that suggests that friendship and that interest and that connection. Because if you're connecting with those friends, you're also connecting with the wider viewer. It will also remove that stiffness from your delivery. And if you look at a lot of the video abstracts that exist at the moment, and it is an emerging genre, I would say the one characteristic that's a bit dreadful is the stiffness. We just need to relax, become your best self, enjoy the experience of disseminating your research, and share your fabulousness with the planet. Relax with it. Don't be nervous. You have control over the process, and you can do it many times if you see fit. Please remember, do not read your written abstract. The written abstract and the video abstract are very different things. Introduce yourself, introduce the title, then explain why I should give a damn, why I should care, why is this brilliant, why is this transformative, give it to me. Sell it to me. Explain to me why this is fabulous. Get that in the video abstract. Now, a lot of publishers are doing this now. They have their own YouTube channels. But even if publishers don't do this, when you produce a refereed article, I would methodically now start producing a video abstract. And always make sure in the information section on YouTube that you list the URL, list the precise details of the article. Because remember, the whole point of this is you want people to read your article. You're not doing this as a self-standing, here's the video abstract. They're watching that and you want them to read your piece. So make sure whenever you send this material around social media, the video abstract is always linked with the article itself. So why would you do this? There are many reasons to do a video abstract, I think, but most importantly, it raises the profile and the visibility of you and your research. And one little Google point I want to give you. Video is increasingly found on Google. So video, and also can I say photography as well, video always appears higher in your Google rankings than the written work. So if you want to start to control those first 3 pages of your Google returns, one way is to record video, and video will start to appear higher up your ranking. So as you can see, research dissemination is everything. Yes, writing an article, publishing it, going through refereeing, all of that is terrific and important. But your job starts when the article is published. It doesn't finish, it starts. And your role then is to find every strategy you can, including a video abstract, to send around social media, build up your profile, build up your citations, and allow people to discover you and to discover your fantastic research. So thank you to our wonderful early career researchers for a great suggestion this week. Thank you very much. I've loved doing the research for this one. And as always, I wish you love, light, and peace. Tea out.